In this exercise, we're going to build out a base scenario and then add in several levels of complexity where the soldiers start communicating with each other, then use UAVs and share information. Unlike previous tutorials, this will be less of a holding your hand and walking you through the exercise, and more just showing you what you're going to build and how to do it, and drop some pretty good hints along the way. So in this scenario, you can see this blue squad at the top, and they're moving through McKenna Mount site. And we have 4 red agents that have laid an ambush. So the blue forces are currently set to no formation, even though they were initially in a column formation to move them into that area, get them in the right formation. But just because of some things we're going to be doing, we should leave them, set them to be no formation. Also, instead of using a path, I used a node network going through the McKenna Mount site, even though this could have been a path. And we'll see in one of the tutorials why we did this. I have my 4 red agents down here saying an ambush. They are all in a prone, unprotected position. And they will engage the blue forces as they move through. Loading mission builder up. The missions are fairly straightforward. The blue mission is move along path individual, start when on enter, and they're engaging. Meanwhile, the red mission, they're simply engaging. So watching the scenario run from the squad leader's perspective, I'll just go to first person observe and hit play scenario, and I'll speed this up a little bit. So we're walking through McKenna Mount site. You can see Alpha Team in front of me. Oh, the point man is engaging. Oh, there's the red forces. They're currently in a prone, unprotected position. All right, I can already see that 2 members of my Alpha Team are down. Okay, we're using the ones on the left. These are my high threat. That's getting lit up. You can see on the left-hand side over here that incapacitation is scheduled, so I will die shortly. There I go. You can see that most of the Alpha Team got annihilated, and the Bravo Team was able to push through, even though there was several survivors on the red side. No suppression, no suppression. There. So this red agent will die shortly, and this red agent is left alive. For the first scenario, we're going to have it so that the squad can communicate, and as part of that, they can react to the ambush. Instead of pushing through the ambush, which we know probably wouldn't actually happen that way, we have the squad move into this house over here and take shelter. So on the map, the first thing we have to do is we have to add nodes to our node network and add in these points and have them move into that house. And we can do that by just clicking on our node network, add nodes, and then just connecting your nodes together. In Mission Builder, what we have to do now is we have to add in a few new missions, or a few new activities for the blue force. There is not any change for the red force. So for the blue force, what we're going to do is we're going to move along path, and we're adding in an end controller, end when a message was received, and that message is going to be ambush. So you can add the end controller by just right-clicking on the activity name and clicking Add End Controller, and then you select an expression editor was received, and then type in the message ambush. So now that that's going to stop the initial movement so that they're not continuing that movement, we have to actually send that message. So we create this activity over here. The start controller is when some threat is fired, and communicate, and the message that they send is ambush. Ambush is not one of the default messages, so when you add this activity in, there's going to be a blank box there. You just start typing the word ambush. Then the next thing we have to do is we have to have them move into the house. So this, we're going to add in a move along path individual activity, and we're going to start it when ambush was received, and we're going to have it so that they move along the node network, but they're going to finish up at that last point in the house. So running through this, we can see how this works. So our blue squad is moving through the town. That point man's about to turn the corner and see the red force. The red force engaged. Some threat has fired. So that triggers all of these folks to move into that house and avoid being in the line of sight of the red force. They're all going to move in the house, stack up, and that's basically the end of this scenario. So now that our squad knows about the ambush and avoids that ambush area, what we're going to do is we're going to have our Blue Force squad leader call for fire on that ambush area. So the first thing we have to do is we have to define an area. So we can go to Add Overlay, Add Area Feature, Add Generic, and create a general area and just encapsulate our 4 red forces in it. The next thing we have to do is, and we can name that target area. So now if we go to Mission Builder, we can create a new mission. And we're going to assign this just to the blue squad leader, so make sure you assign that. Assign it just to the blue squad leader, so it's assigned to the blue squad leader. And it's going to be a call for fire mission. And we're going to just create that. We're going to drag a start node over, a wait node, and communicate. We're going to have the soldiers wait for, or the squad leader to wait for 5 minutes, then communicate. We're going to communicate a call for fire request. Latency of 0 seconds, probability of transmission 1, which means the message goes through. And the munitions, a C4 explosive, 100 grams, area, target, and it's going to be target area. And again, we're going to start that when ambush was received. So watching this run, we see our blue forces moving in. They start engaging. Some threat is fired. They all move into the house. 5 seconds, and we just saw the call for fire. The munition got dropped right there. And if I click on, we can see an incapacitation is scheduled, so that agent got killed by the call for fire. This one is fine, and this one is fine as well. We saw in the last scenario that the call for fire took out some of the red forces. However, what the blue forces can now do is send a QRF in to clear out the remaining red forces in that ambush. So in this scenario, we modified it to create a blue fire team that we renamed as being QRF. That's an urban close assault that follows a path from the side over here into the central area of McKenna Mount site, through the ambush, pushing through the ambush, and finishing up over here. We're now going to modify this mission builder to allow that QRF to move so that they get called, they move, and then once they reach their endpoint, they're going to contact back the blue forces, the main squad, and tell them, hey, continue on, the route is now cleared. So loading up mission builder, let's start with the squad leader, who's going to be calling the QRF. So this first activity is call for fire from last time, but we added in another one for call QRF. So we have a wait time of 20 seconds, and we're starting when ambush was received. We wait 20 seconds, and the message we're sending is a custom message saying send QRF. Now we have our QRF mission, and we're going to assign it to the QRF. And for them, they're going to move along path formation. They're going to start when they receive the message, send QRF. We're going to modify it so that when they reach their endpoint, when they've cleared through the ambush site, they communicate a message, ambush cleared, and they send it to my force. Also, because we want them engaging the red force, we add an engagement mission as well. Now for the blue forces, we go back up here. Let me go back to the QRF for 1 second. For the QRF, And for any of the movements that we're doing on here, for them to run properly, we need to make sure that allow multiple runs is not clicked. So we go to our main blue missions. We have our initial blue move along path individual. Make sure allow multiple runs isn't clicked. This is the movement into seeking shelter. Make sure that's not clicked. And we're going to create a new one, a new movement. And it's going to be very similar to that first one. And make sure allow multiple runs is not entered there as well. So we're going to modify that first movement. We are not modifying that first movement. We're modifying the second movement where they seek shelter. And we're adding in an end controller. End when ambush cleared was received. And the reason we're doing this is because some of the soldiers will still be trying to get to that final node, but they're stacked upon each other. So this movement activity will not have terminated, and another movement activity will start, and that just confuses everything. So when that QRF reaches their endpoint and they send that message ambush cleared, we end that movement of the blue forces taking shelter. Now we're going to create a new activity group. We can do that by just copying and pasting the first one and create a new one. And they're going to just move again to their final destination. And we're going to start that when ambush cleared was received. So I'm going to save, and let's go and run it. See if this works. All right, they're moving. As they go take shelter, call for fire, QRF goes in. And the blue forces now continue on their mission after the ambush is cleared. Let's rerun this and let's just do first person observe. Speed it up a little bit. All right, Squadler just send the message, send QRF. All right, you can see the Grenadier fired a shot there. Walk through a tree. Engaging. And I'm scheduled for incapacitation. But regardless, I reached the endpoint, and the main squad is now able to continue their mission. So for the fourth tutorial, we're going to add in a UAV. The UAV, which you can see right here, is going to fly over the site and report whether or not there's any threats. And the message it's going to send if there's a threat is ambush, and the blue squad can respond accordingly. So we have to add in our ducted fan MAV. So add unit agent blue single agent ducted fan MAV. And then we have to set a path for it. So we can create a new path, and I created one that goes straight down the center of the town. You can't see it right now because in order for the UAV to fly, you have to raise that path into the air. So you can set your path initially on the ground, then click on each point and change the Z coordinate and increase it by about 30. If you increase it by about 30, it should go over all the buildings. It should be visible if you go to 4th floor. You can see my path right here, and the UAV is going to fly along it. So just running through the scenario, just showing you what's going to happen. The UAV takes off at the same time as my mission kicks off. Speed it up a little bit. The UAV is flying down its path. We're not sure whether or not it called in the ambush or not. We'll see in a minute. We can see the smoke from the call for fire, and we can see the QRF moving through the site. Reach their site, and our blue squad turns around and comes back out and goes back. All right, in Mission Builder, what we did was we need to create a new mission, UAV mission, and assign it to our ducted fan MAV. So iWars treats any vehicle or robot as an agent, just like a human. So we can use move along path individual. We start when on enter, and we set our path to be UAV path. However, we have to go down over here to move and select ignore gravity. That will allow it to fly. Now the other activity we have to do is have it report that they spotted enemy. So we create a new activity group, have it communicate, start with number of threats greater than 0. And the message that's going to send is ambush. And this is the same message that your point man would send when they take fire to initiate your blue force response. So in this case, you might be getting that message a little bit earlier. So closing that and just running through the scenario again. Again, you see the MAV flying, you see the contact, taking shelter, the call for fire, the QRF, and the blue force is moving back out. And anyway, has the mission completes. So I'm going to stop, and just to see if the MAV actually called in that communicate, I'm going to go to output analysis and load my most recent run. So in agent behaviors, this shows every single activity that occurs in the model. So if I run analysis, you can see that it's initially setting path, changing directions, all that. So let's filter this. Let's only look at whenever anyone's communicating. So we can put a filter in, equals communicate, run analysis. And you can see that the MAV is sending the message that there's an ambush at 19.5 seconds. Meanwhile, the fire team leader at 23.4 seconds is at that point taking fire and also calling in the ambush, so 5 seconds later. So the MAV allows that blue force to respond 4 seconds faster, which in combat is a big deal. Just for interest, if you want to see everything the ducted fan is doing, you can click run analysis and when you take off filter for communicate. And you can see it sets path, changes direction, starts moving, changes direction again, moves, and then it communicates, and then it reaches the end of its movement.